fans in Comic Land, it's Leila here from the Comic Connection with this week's comic book reviews. First up, we've got Thor number 607. This is written by Kieran Gillen with art by Tan, Bat, and Elson. So previously in Thor stories, just to catch you up, Loki got Thor exiled. So then his brother Balder took over the throne, and so Loki is sort of secretly controlling the throne of Asgard because he's kind of controlling his brother. Then Loki joined the Cabal and convinced Norman Osborn that Asgard is a threat and it doesn't belong here on Earth. So now Norman is going to lay siege to Asgard, which is of course all part of Loki's dastardly plan. So in this issue, we see that the Asgardians are a mere 10 hours before the end of the world as they know it, and everything is going to change. Loki's on hand to make sure that anybody who could clue them in on what's going to happen is taken out of the way. And then also at the same time, Volstagg is trying to set the record straight about what happened in previous issue. So this is a really good issue. The tension is really building towards the final, confrontation in Siege that we've all been waiting for, where Asgard finally gets attacked, and we see what Loki's scheming has really led up to. The art in this book is mostly good, even though there's like a trio of artists, and you kind of gets fit together, and sometimes you're jarred out of it because you're like, oh, it's different artists. But overall, they all did a really good job, and this is a really good read. If you haven't read Thor before, this is a good part to jump on, because this is a part one of the storyline called Ragnarok. So it does a nice little summary of what happened so far, and you can jump right into Siege. So if you haven't done it so far, pick it up. This was a pretty good read. Next up, we've got a free book from Marvel this week. It's called X-Men Second Coming. This is a preview book, which summarizes a little bit of what's happened previously in X-Men stories, where mutant kind almost was destroyed, and then there was a new mutant baby born. Her name's Hope Summers. People want to kill her, so then they sent her away to the future with Cable, who raises her and teaches her how to fight and be a soldier. And now they have returned, where she is grown up, to forward on the story of what's happening in the X-Men. So in this one, the Second Coming prologue, written by Mike Carey with art by Stuart Emanin, several key X-players are sort of interviewed on camera about where they were when certain events happened. And you see how they feel about everything that's gone on so far and where this whole story might be leading. So what is Second Coming going to be all about? Well, this might give us a little bit of a hint. In the back of one of the panels, there's somebody who looks like they're being operated on or monitored by doctors, and we don't know who it is. But then there's a backup story in the book all about the Phoenix Force and the history of that throughout Marvel Comics. Is this a hint for anybody about what might be coming? Possibly, considering that we're talking about Hope Summers here. Anyways, so this was a pretty good read. It's free, did I mention, so pick it up so you know what's going on in the X-Men for the big upcoming event that's going to tie up years and years of storytelling. Next up, we've got G.I. Joe Operation Hiss #1. This is written by Brian Reed with art by Alex Cal and Agustin Padilla. So in this sequel to the film, a MARS, which is Military Armaments Research Syndicate facility in China, has gone dark, and the Joes have been sent in to find out why. They're confronted by a familiar foe, and they find out that this is all just the tip of the iceberg. So I gotta say, I really enjoyed this. I don't normally read G.I. Joe because I'm normally like, well, it's probably not that interesting. But this was actually pretty good. There's lots of action, there's lots of intrigue, dialogue's really good, solid story, and the art is really well done. So if you're looking for a G.I. Joe book, I can recommend this one, especially if you liked the movie and you wanted to see something more after that. This literally is sort of a sequel. That's the way they're billing it. So this is the G.I. Joe series to try out if you're interested. And last but not least, we've got Green Arrow number 30, written by J.T. Kroll, with art by Diogenes Neves, featuring a beautiful Greg Horn cover. So in this one, Oliver Queen returns as a Black Lantern and takes aim at those closest to him. And during the battle, we witness him trying to take control from beyond the Black Lantern veil and protect those that he loves. So this was an awesome issue. If you're a Green Arrow fan, like I am, then you're not going to be disappointed in this book. It's going to seem very similar to some other Black Lantern stories. You see more about how while you're a Black Lantern, you still have some sort of consciousness that you can fight against, the evilness that's going on. So it's kind of cool to see all of that. Who knows what the fate of Green Arrow ultimately will be? I'm sure all will be revealed in Blackest Night, though not Blackest Night number 7, because I read that and nothing much about Green Arrow in there, but still an awesome book. So make sure to check it out. But this was another really great Blackest Night tie-in, one that you shouldn't miss.
Hey folks, Jim here with this week's comic book reviews. And first up, Alice in the Country of Hearts Volume 2, written by Quinn Rose with art by Sume Hoshino. And in this one, Alice begins to understand the inner workings of Land. Everyone desires to get close to her, and Alice's life lights up with a bit of happiness. But she soon discovers the truth behind all the bliss and wasted lives. This is another dark take on Alice in Wonderland. Art's okay, story-wise okay. Other than that, I can't highly recommend it. And the fact that everyone's clocks turn into guns, that's also cool, but other than that, I can't highly recommend it unless you're a really super hardcore fan of Alice in Wonderland, and with the new Tim Burton film, I think a lot of people are. Next up, Devil #1, written and drawn by Torkiro Kishi, and in this one, a virus is raging, turning people into blood-sucking superhumans known as devils. But most die within months of being infected, and soon a new class of devil threatens to take over mankind. This is a first. This is basically one of the first mangas ever actually made for an American market. It was specifically made for the Western market, so it is in traditional comic book style. It's full color, and it's 24 pages, and it's not bad. It's pretty dark story-wise. Art-wise, it's simplistic. It's not Kishi's best, but then again, you can't compare everything to works like Maka Maka. So I actually really enjoyed it. It's a dark story, and it's a lot of fun to read. So if you're a vampire fan, you might like it. If not, check it out. You still might like it. Next up, Archie #606, the Epilogue. And in this one, written by Malcolm Uzlan with art by Stan Goldberg, Archie finally awakens from his coma to a new world ruled by machines. And he now must choose between Robo-Betty or Cyber Veronica. Yeah, that's what happens. Yeah. Prove me wrong, people. Prove me wrong. Actually, it's just a typical Archie book. You're not going to enjoy it anyway if you're a true comic fan. Unless you're an Archie fan, and then you're going to enjoy it nonetheless. So, I'm finally free. No more Archie for me. And last, and certainly least, is Transformers #4, written by Mike Costa with art by Don Figueroa. And in this one, Thundercracker's betrayals, which set the stage for Autobot victory. We haven't found out what he's been up to lately. So we find out what Thundercracker's been up to for the last 3 years, and while on the battlefield, Hot Rod gets a new name, Rodimus Prime. It's corny, but it's good. Continuity-wise, it's pretty good. Story-wise, it's okay. Art-wise, I still hate the faces. I still hate the faces. As I've said before many a times, trying to meld aesthetics doesn't seem to work for this series, and it really takes away from the story. So, I can't highly recommend it, but if you're a Transformers fan, you're gonna buy it anyway.